I think it should be working now. Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly the day I don't connect the microphone. It's the paradox of life, yeah. Someone stops by, says hello. How are you doing? Everything going well for you? Have a nice weekend. Yeah, it's one of those paradoxes of life. Yeah, it's like some kind of Murphy law. Okay. Yeah, it's like when you get a job, and then all the jobs start coming out of the woodwork, all the job offers. Or when you get a girlfriend, all the girls start coming after you. It's really funny. You had an okay weekend. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when you are needing a job, no jobs appear. When when you want to have someone, no one comes to nearby you. Yeah. This is a job. This is for a client. It's for a sci-fi author for a book. He asked me to do. He asked me to do some keyframes representing some of the main scenes of what happens in the book. These are like some rough keyframes for him to like visualize, get like a visual reference for what he expects the scene to look like, and maybe draw inspiration for, maybe to add more stuff to the book. Yeah, I think this is the penultimate one. I do this one and I have one more to go, and that's it for this job. One scene more. That's great. You want to do like VFX and that kind of stuff? Or you want to do more of the DreamWorks animated film kind of thing? Okay. Oh, that's cool. Now there are much more options that there was back in the day. There are a lot more studios doing animated films. More studios doing stuff for Netflix and Amazon and all that. Have more opportunities than back in the day than when there was not those streaming services, when they didn't have their own studios. Yeah, now they have their own studios and contractor studios too. But I'm sure it's also really competitive, right? or you want to work specifically for that studio? Yeah, it is really cool. Have you watched the Astartes one? The guy that was a fan and they made him part of the Games Workshop animation team. I'm sure he worked on that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he worked on that secret level short. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really cool. I think that's the best way to use the Space Marine characters. Yeah, man, you know, have a lot of the tools that before were only available to like big studios with super extremely massive budgets. You can do it yourself on Unreal. Just using Unreal and Blender, you can make a really cool shit. And are you going to school or are you learning by yourself? So, do you use Maya or what do you use? Or 2S Max? Then you use Maya or what do you use? 3x Max. Woof! Been a long time since I think I first learned 3s Max when I was in university. But I didn't pay too much attention to my 3D classes. I barely learned how to use. We were taught Maya and 3s Max, but I never really learned how to use them. Didn't pay too much attention. Was not into art so much when I was in university. It's really good. And if you have like V-Ray or F-Storm, you can make some really nice renders. That is so weird, huh? When you had like the opportunities to learn in the past something, but if that's default. I always use it with, when I use it, I always use it with V-Ray. I never used the default render. It was not until I was like already working as a graphic designer, was bored doing that kind of work that I started learning and getting more into 3D. So is that default render from Max is like the manta ray for for Maya? I think that was the name, manta ray. Ah, the default render is now Corona. Okay, that is just as good as V-Ray, or maybe even better in some case. Ah, yeah, you don't need anything else. And does it support GPU rendering, or is only GPU, only CPU still? Or it supports both? Corona. Yeah, the good thing about the GPU real time rendering is that you can see what you are doing. That's the main problem, at least in my case, that I had before with the pre-programs. That it was really difficult to see what you were doing real time in CPU rendering when it was so slow in the past. But you have to make like test renders all the time to see what you are doing. It was really annoying, and it takes you out even to this day when I'm doing like a scene that is too big or too heavy for Blender, which is what I hate about Blender, that it crashes and it staggers when your scene starts to getting a little bit complicated. You know, it takes you out of the flow, you know? I mean, you lose your concentration and you start doing other stuff. And that's my case. That's one of my mm, mm-hmm. Mm. Arnold, I have heard of Arnold. Yeah, it is good. Arnold is good. Yeah, I was surprised because Corona is like premium stuff. Yeah. And I think Corona is from the same owners of B-Ray, maybe. I don't remember well, but I think it was from the same creators of B-Ray. I'm not sure. So it is something, it is like a premium product. That's why I was so surprised that it was out of Max. Yeah, but it's. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most of the rendering software is good or good enough. Yeah. You know, it almost depends on how well you know the to adjust your settings and all that. So are you going to school and then in your free time you are learning the 3D animation thing, or are you going to work already? You're going to your 9 to 5 and then in your free time you spend it learning 3D. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really slow process, right? Hmm. Yeah. I remember when I was working doing like graphic design and that stuff. Coming back home in the at night and trying to learn ZBrush and all that stuff. You know, it is a really slow process, but it's better to keep your financial security as long as you can and make the jump when you are like sure, yeah. Or even better if you have any something already set up, some revenue stream somehow when you're going to make the switch. It is a lot. It is a lot of stuff. It is overwhelming, the amount of things that you have to learn. Yeah, but it's good to like break it down, yeah. One thing at a time. And one you can download from my ArtStation. You can download my UI guide, hotkeys guide for ZBrush. It is free. Go into our ArtStation and my marketplace, and you can download it from there. And it has like a visual aid for the shortcuts and some explanations to make it more manageable. Yeah, you can get it and take a look. It even explains how to install it and all that. Yeah, a lot of people is. Thank you. Yeah, ZBrush is overwhelming at the beginning. You know, a lot of people struggle and even like stop learning the program because of how much is there, yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that is not like obvious or explained right away in the program. You need someone like to tell you in most cases how to do some things, because it's it's almost impossible to figure out by yourself. You need like someone to shepherd you. You need someone to shepherd you through the program, man. It is just so much and some weird functions that are like essential and are hidden. And these new versions of Photoshop have changed a little bit the behavior of this. The same with the gradient tool. Thankfully, they left the classic gradient still. The new gradient is so, like, this for me is confusing. Uh, I think it's better. Yeah, try it out and you can adapt it to your own preferences, right? You don't have to use it exactly the way I use it because what I had found out about like ZBrush is that everyone needs to adapt the program for their own needs, yeah, or their own style of working. So the way you work might end up being different to yours, but it will for sure like give you an idea or a template of the kind of stuff that you can do and how to organize it. Or how to organize your workflow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's like the silver lining, yeah? That at least they give you like options to fully customize and adapt things to your liking. You should also give like 3D code a try. A lot of people that were not able to learn with ZBrush, you can try also with 3D code. It is easier to learn ZBrush. I know how to use both, but I still prefer ZBrush. But 3D code is amazing too, and it has much more tools for texturing and do crazy stuff. But I still like the look of doing a hard surface sculpt in ZBrush more in 3D code. It has more of a cleaner look on ZBrush, while in 3D code things tend to look a little bit more lumpy or waxy. Maybe it's because they are like voxels and not real polygons. But it is much faster to design and concept things. Especially for hard surface, because you don't have to worry about how to cut, how to separate the parts of things. You can just cut it, and it will be cut as you want it. Can just cut and cut away, and then slice and all that. If you have used ZBrush, you know that you cannot just cut whenever or however you want. You have to clean up. Yeah, Modbox is. I don't know. Maybe I will say dead, but a lot of people have dropped it that I knew that use Modbox. I'm sure there's still people that use it and make incredible things, but if you have the option to learn ZBrush, I think it's better to learn ZBrush. Yeah, and that's the other thing, yeah, that you won't have as much learning material as you had for ZBrush. And that's another thing that you have to take into account. You need like that community and that support because sometimes even when you're working like professionally, there will be times that there's like a problem or something that you cannot figure out how to do, and if there's like no community, no tutorials, no support, like you are fucked. Yeah. Yeah, I have lost count of how many times I have to go to forums or Discord or YouTube or whatever to find out about something that I didn't know how to do or to solve some problem. If you are like using a software that no one else uses, well, you're like in a difficult position. Yeah, I remember in one project that I was doing on ZBrush. Yeah. Yeah, and imagine that you are doing like a project professionally. Yeah? You are doing something for a client and you you run into a problem and you can't find a way how to fix it. If you're working like say a flat rate or by the hour, you will lose money and you might lose the client or you might lose the project. You might end up spending extra time and what's the name of that in English? Overtime. You might end up working overtime trying to find a solution. You want to end up losing money in that project. It can be cool being like the one wizard guy that knows how to use a program that no one uses, but it comes with a severe detriment. Yeah, it can be difficult being the one cool guy that knows how to use an arcane software that no one else has used. I don't know putting so much work into this because these are supposed to be sketches, but I always end up like adding and adding things to the pieces, even though they are supposed to be like rough. And that's like the threat with 3D, right? That you end up like spending more time than you should. And like, hey, let me tweak this and tweak this material and tweak that and add this and add that. Sometimes you end up like distracted, working in something that might not even be visible. Like for example, you're doing like an environment, yeah, and a tunnel or a keyframe, and you end up spending a lot of time modeling you end up like trying to model in perfect hinges for the doors when when that is like not visible at all practically. You know, it's something to keep in mind that you have like to focus a little bit more on the big picture. Like you're doing like an environment inside a house and you end up like spending 2 hours modeling hinges for the cabinet doors. That shit is not visible, man. You have like just to give an approximation or a hint that there's hinges, but you don't have to be like the perfect hinge. Okay. Break it apart. This. Let me look for this program. Yeah, and one other thing is that for this kind of stuff, I destroy the image to make it look less digital. Ah, god. That thing. So it's like practically pointless to add detail or too much detail. Maybe I had some light hotspots with color dodge to these lasers. Yeah, man, you have to make yourself finish, yeah? If it is shed or whatever, the important thing is finishing and moving on to the next thing. This is Yeah, you have to get used to finishing projects, because sometimes when you're doing like client work, you will have projects that is overstand, yeah, and become a nightmare because they go for so long and you are bored. You're bored of working in the same thing for months. Yeah, you have to learn how to deal with that. Working on the same thing, and yeah, imagine the guys that work in games, yeah, that they work like for years in the same project. Yeah. Imagine the guys working in Call of Duty year after year in the Call of Duty mines. I'm sure a lot of them at the beginning were really stoked to work on such a big franchise, but I'm sure when year 5 or year 4 is going, they are like, they are not as passionate about it, and it's it's a reality, right? It's part of the human condition, getting like tired of doing the same kind of job. You eventually will want to work something different. It's too much. Maybe if it is thinner, it will look better. God damn, I always forget that this Discord, that when you close the window, it doesn't close it totally. Sometimes it jump scares me. I think this makes it better. And it's always like the cool thing about digital art, that you can compare and see if the changes that you did like improve or make it worse, and you can check immediately. Because that happens a lot of the time, that you do something extra and it makes things worse. Oh man, you need to learn. It is like an essential thing. It's like even secretaries know how to use Photoshop nowadays. It's like an essential skill now. I learned years ago, obviously when studying graphic design, and also with I don't know. I don't know if it is still exists, but in the past I learned a lot from a course called Photoshop Black Belt or something like that, and it was really, really groundbreaking techniques at the time. That's how I learned most of the Photoshop stuff that I know. I don't let me see if I find the name. Photoshop Black Belt or something like that. God damn it. Brave. Photoshop Black Belt. Oops. What's this? Yeah, it has been at least like 10 years. I don't know if maybe it's the same course, but he has changed it because so much time has passed, right? Okay. No. Yeah, I think it might be this one. And all the tutorials have changed because, well, it has been like 10 years or more. Might be this. This is kind of a little bit of the style of the guy, I think. But yeah, it has been like 10 years or something like that. Shot that bell. Hell no, this is this is not it. I'm sorry, guy, but this is no, this is not it. This is some guy from India teaching. I think it might be that one, man. There's a lot of stuff to, a lot of resources for Photoshop for sure. And still, there's so much stuff in Photoshop. I don't think I even know how to use like 50% of what the program has to offer. There is just so much things, and they add a lot of stuff every year, and a lot of stuff that a lot of the time is useless or so specific or niche that it becomes like load, yeah. Or there is just so much in this program. But yeah, man, you have to like get into it and go for it with Photoshop. You can make post-processing and clean it up of your renders and make your presentations and your portfolio and all that. It's a really long journey, but it is really fun if you really love it. You enjoy like the process and the exploration and finding out things and learning techniques and all that. It is really fun. And also, of course, sometimes it's hard. Yeah? It's not just like rainbows. But if you really fell in love with it, it is amazing. I think the big disheartening part is, especially if you do it like for a living, is the economic part, right? That's in my opinion, that's like the most disheartening factor. Especially now and in the future that tools are becoming more accessible with the AI and all that kind of stuff. This kind of jobs might be in danger or depreciated because of the big hit that they have taken with how difficult it is to make images or animation with AI. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, that it making it easier, and it makes this or produces this perception that art is easy and therefore cheap. It can become like or it is already a problem financially. That is just creates such perception that is just like writing a prompt or moving things around in the program, and that's it. Yeah, man. That's it. That's one of the, in my opinion, that's one of the most difficult things, you know. The economic part, but everything else is really cool. A really cool journey. And of course, even in my case, if I don't keep doing this like for a living, I will still do it, you know. Even if it is just as a hobby, I will still keep doing it and enjoy doing it. And maybe in the future we had to become plumbers or electricians. But I will still doing this kind of stuff for myself. Yeah, that's a good place to be. And just enjoy working on it for the sake of it. That's like the best way to learn. Warm colors in area. This explosion. Holy shit, too much. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No problem, man. Take care. Thruster. Missile thruster. Highlights. Afterburners, yeah. That's such a really cool work, or really cool sounding word, Afterburner. This one should have been curved more. Usually. What time is it? Oh man, 11? I should have finished this already. I'm like, start working on the next keyframe by now. Body rate. Yeah. I would like. Darken. Levels, curves, I always confuse them. I'll be right back. I'm going to pay myself. Be right back. Okay, I think that's it for this one.